Hey, this is Miss Thomas, and welcome to the first session of the scientific method. The standard is N.1.1. Don't really need to know that, but if you are checking it off a list, this is the first one that we'll cover. First off, let me note that these dates are very flexible. Always go by the dates posted in the classroom, not on these PowerPoints that were made beforehand. Every time you have a unit, you will have a vocabulary quiz. This vocabulary, as of now, is due 8/28 with a quiz on 8/30. The quizzes are matching. They are subject to change, though, and they will be done online. Your vocabulary words for this unit will be biology, hypothesis, variance, average, median, mode, inference, variable, independent variable, dependent variable, experimental group, control group, qualitative, quantitative, theory, and law. You will need to make note cards for these as well as turn in a sheet of paper with the words listed on them. You will have the option, if you would like, to create these online. There are multiple programs that I can tell you about, and you can show me that you did it that way instead of doing it with note cards. That is up to you. As long as I have something to grade, you are okay. This first unit that we will cover very quickly. Need to make sure you keep up or pay attention to the videos. The first thing that we cover will be the scientific method, what is biology, and what a microscope does. These are all topics that will be covered on the EOC, so I highly advise that you review this over and over again. So if you're following along with your note packet that you have been given, you'll see that the first part is what is the scientific method. First off, the scientific method must be systematic, repeatable, and testable. The very first part is that we have to ask a question. So what is your question to the scientific method? It could be for any experiment that you do. Then you need to do background research. You need to be able to research and find out exactly what you're doing. If you're doing it on plants, you need to know about plants. If you're doing it on a human, you need to know about the human. Then you need to construct a hypothesis. The hypothesis could be anything that you think is going to happen. You need to be able to test that with an experiment. You need to analyze your results and draw conclusions. If it's true, you can report the results, but if it is false or partially true, then you need to go back and think again. This is the basic steps of the scientific method. Some people word it differently, but this is what you will need to know to pass the class. Make sure as we're going along you are writing these in your notes. These will be taken up and graded. This is your notebook. Everything that you need will be in these notes, and they will be used later on. So the next thing we're going to do is actually put the scientific method into use. You're going to learn quite a few new vocabulary words. Hopefully these are words that you have known before, and this is just a refresher. If you're doing this at home, I highly suggest that you do if you missed it in class. That way you have everything filled in for the table when you turn in the notes. All you're going to need is a bag of M&Ms, and you will need some color pencils. If you did miss this, make sure you do get it from somebody in class because you will need the class totals as well. So first off, what do we know about a bag of M&Ms? You could answer multiple answers. Maybe we know the colors that are in it. Maybe we know how much it weighs. We know all the information that it gives us on the back of the package. We know if it's peanut or if it's plain. Even now, pretzels, peanut butter, whatever. So these are different things that we know about a bag of M&Ms. So now we have to hypothesize. We have to figure out what we're going to test. I'm not going to proceed to the chart like your note does. You can listen right now, and then I will show you the chart at the end so you can actually fill everything in that you have missed. First off, what is a hypothesis? A hypothesis can be said in multiple words. The definition that you will see on your quiz, as well as later on, will be that it is a possible explanation for a set of observations or possible answer to a scientific question. So how will we know that the hypothesis that we have chosen is correct? This is where we collect our data. Data is evidence or information gathered from observations. You can come up with your own way to remember that, but that is the definition that will be used. Now you're going to open your bag and you're going to actually perform the experiment. The experiment is in your notes. You can run through it. And then as the students finish in the class, I have them write their data on the board. So let me give you time to do that, and we will continue. Now would be time to pause the video so you can work through the lab, and then when you're ready to start again, just hit play. So if you were in the classroom, you know by now that we have gathered all the groups' informations and we put them together on a chart on the board. This is called multiple trials. Multiple trials are running the same experiment over and over to get the most accurate results. Variance is the measure of how far a set of numbers is spread out. We can now take the information we have gathered to answer further questions. For example, from our data, what would be an accurate way to determine the number of M&Ms in a random bag I pick up at the grocery store? To do this, we could take the average, median, or mode. So what is the average, median, and mode? The average is all the numbers added up together and then divided by the total number of outcomes. The median is known as the middle number, and the mode is the one that appears the most often. Now, you're going to have to get the whole class, their outcomes, to do your histogram. A histogram is known as a bar graph, and then you need to do a pie chart as well. A pie chart is a circle chart that is divided into sections. Make sure that you label both of your charts. This would be a good time to pause the video as well. So if you miss filling in any of the definitions, here they are. You also need to make sure that you write out a way that you can remember this definition yourself. Do not copy my definition, except for like a histogram, which is a bar graph. That one's pretty short. You need to make sure you do this on your own.